Hey guys, so this week I'm not really reviewing anything. I'm going to talk instead about a problem with books that I've been having recently that I think maybe a few people may be able to relate to as well. And the problem is love stories in books. Because I have no problem with romance novels or anything like that, but I'm talking more about YA novels specifically as well, where the main character has got to try and save the world or a world or something like that, and she magically falls in love with a guy who most of the time doesn't really know she exists or ignores her or is a bit of a bad boy or whatever, and she completely forgets what she's supposed to be doing and is constantly thinking about the boy instead of what she's supposed to be doing, which is saving the world. And so often I just can't deal with that kind of thing, because I'm not really a romantic person. I'm not really one for love stories or anything like that. I read because I want to read about adventures that I can't have because I'm too much of a wuss and there's no need to save the world. Well, there kind of is. But you know what I mean. It's not like magic is taking over or demons or something and I'm the chosen one who has to go and save the world. You know, I want to read about people doing that. I don't want to read about people falling in love. If I did, I'd read a romance novel. But so many novels nowadays have this amazing storyline, but then the love story gets in the way. Like, there's so many books that out there that have got love stories in that don't need love stories in. Like, for example, I was in London the other day for my best friend's birthday, and we decided to go into Waterstones because she's a massive bookworm, I'm a massive bookworm, and going into different Waterstones than our regular ones quite fun, because then they usually have larger sections for YA novels, which we really like, than our one in our main town. And we went in there, and I must have picked up about 12 books, I think, in the end. And every single one of them had a love story in, and 90% of the time, it wasn't needed. Like, the one that really sticks out to me is a Young Frankenstein novel that I found. I can't remember the title of it, and I can't remember who it was by, but it was a Young Frankenstein novel all about the young Victor Frankenstein and why he decided to create the monster, and all about his brother dying, and that's why he wanted to create the monster, which sounds amazing, right? I was totally like, I'm buying this book. This sounds incredible. And then at the end, it said that it had a love triangle in it. And to me, and I haven't read the book, but to me, that storyline didn't sound like it needed a love story in it. That just sounded like it was chucked in to make it more appealing to, like, teenagers. And I don't understand. Like, I know love is such an important thing to teenagers because obviously you're starting to grow up and you're starting to become more adult and you kind of want those kind of things. But not every novel has to have it in. Sure, you can write adventure stories like that where there is a love story, and that's fine, but don't have it take over the entire thing, and not every novel needs one. Like, I've had so many times where a perfectly good story has just been absolutely ruined or just been completely turned me off because there's a love story in it. So, for example, take Alice in Zombieland. I started reading that the other day, and I only made it to page 104. And there was one reason for that, because the storyline was fantastic. I was loving the fact that she thought she didn't know if she was actually seeing ghosts or what, because the rest of her family died in a car crash and were eaten by monsters. And she doesn't know if she saw this or not, because her dad has spent his entire life having them on lockdown because he was afraid of the monsters. And then when her parents and her sister died, she started seeing monsters and ghosts and stuff like that. And that was really interesting, especially when she started seeing her sister's ghost. And that side of it was awesome. I was totally into it. But then it completely 360'd page like 68, I think it was, where she went to a new school. She took one look at the absolute bad boy who was going to end up in prison in the next 2 years, and she started having visions of making out with him. I'm not kidding. She took one look at him, met his gaze, and started having visions of making out with him in the middle of the school hallway. And it was like, what? Seriously? We're going there? And then she did it again, and she had the same thing, and sometimes she had it and sometimes she didn't, and it was like, are we seriously doing this? Really? And it was kind of hinted at that it was some sort of reason for this, and that the fact that she knew his name before she actually knew his name, and in the vision she got his name, which was really interesting, and clearly he was out fighting zombies and stuff like that, which was really, really interesting. But it was all mixed up in this love story, and all of a sudden she forgot completely about the fact that she was seeing ghosts and all the rest of it, and could only care about the fact that she thought the boy was hot, and that she kept on seeing visions about him, and that was all she cared about. And I mean, surely you would have been more interested in the fact there's ghosts, and you're seeing your sister's ghost and all the rest of it, and possibly your father's whole ramblings that you thought were crazy may actually be true, but no, the boy's more important, and that's the bit that annoys me, because quite frankly, I'm not interested in the boy being more important. I'm more interested in them trying to save the world. You know, it's more interesting when they're trying to save the world from evil things, and books work like this. You can have really interesting and fun books where love stories aren't involved and things still go swimmingly. Like Skullduggery Pleasant. I love Skullduggery Pleasant. There's no love story whatsoever, and it's brilliant. The Hogfather is the exact same thing. They're trying to save the world. There's no love story, and things still go along swimmingly. And then you can, like, even if you do want to put a love story into your book, it doesn't still have to be the be-all and end-all of the entire thing. Because take Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Admittedly, it's weird. He's in love with the woman that his granddad was in love with, and she has an age, so they're still the same age, but she's technically like 90, and yeah, that's a bit odd. But it's not the be-all and end-all of it. Yeah, she's the reason why he wants to stay with Miss Peregrine, like, more than staying in his world, but at least he's not all about her constantly. There's actually a storyline around it, and while he thinks about her, he's still trying to help save them from the Hollows and stuff like that, and that works quite well. And all I'm saying is that you don't need a love story in every single book ever and have it completely take over the protagonist's life. You can have a love story, just don't make it the be-all and end-all of it, where all of a sudden they don't care that they've got to save the world or start killing zombies or whatever they've got to do, because the boy's hot and there. You know, you don't need that kind of thing in every single novel. It makes no sense, and it's a real turn-off for me because I can't stand it. I know I'm like a proper cynic and a pessimist and completely anti-love here, but I want to read novels where the main character goes out on an adventure that I can't have, and I want her to be sensible about it. She can fall in love, or he can fall in love, I don't mind. But as long as they don't just go absolutely insane and forget about everything like they usually do in all of these novels, I'd be fine. You know, I'd be absolutely fine if there was a slow build love story that happened over like 4 or 5 books or something, and they slowly fell in love and then they learnt to work together, or whatever. That'd be fine. Like, I need more books like The Hunger Games with their love story, because Katniss doesn't spend all of her time thinking about Peter and Gale. She's more thinking about how to survive. And yes, she's trying to save, like, Peter and Gale's lives as well, but she's also trying to save Prim's life and everybody else's life. And she's got other things on her mind apart from which boy she's going to choose. And that's, to me, is far more appealing, because that makes the main character more well-rounded and more of a nicer person, and quite frankly more likeable, to be honest. I don't know if anybody else feels like this as well, or if it's just me, because I feel like it's just me who has a severe problem with this. But I don't know, because I feel like so many books nowadays I can't read, because I know that the love story is just going to put me off within 30 seconds like that, because the minute I hear the words, there's a boy, he's hot, I'm immediately like, oh, I know exactly where this is going. The storyline's going to, like, carry on, but all she's going to care about is the boy, and if he likes her or not, which, it's a proper turn-off. I'd rather read about a girl saving the world despite the odds, and then getting a happy ending at the end, possibly. I don't want her to be dealing with the does he like me, does he not, does he like me, does he not, the entire time, when I could be reading more about her training to fight and stuff like that, because that to me is more fun. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I'm the only one who knows what I mean here. I feel like I'm ranting. I'm probably ranting, because I spend most of my time ranting about this. But it's just, please tell me there's other people out there who feel the same way and hate the sodding love stories every 5 minutes, because books don't need them constantly. You can have a novel where they just go out and fight, you know, and they can go out and save the world and be awesome. You can have that. It works. There's books out there that do that, and they're amazing. Can we have more of those, please? Because that, to me, sounds like more fun. You know, I don't know. I feel like I'm ranting here. I don't know. If anybody else feels like this, please tell me down in the comments. Or if you disagree with me, please tell me why down in the comments, and I'll try to reply. I'm trying to get hold of YouTube to try and see if I can actually get my comments working again. But if you have sort of an opinion on this, please tell me that down in the comments as well before I go crazy. Or if you have any books that book recommendations that don't have a love story in as well, that'd be awesome if you could tell me those down in the comments. And if you want to see any more of my thoughts on books or any of my reviews, please do click subscribe here. And if you want to see the review for Skullduggery Pleasant or any of the other books that I've read that don't have love stories in, click here, because they're all there. And I think that's it, because I think I'm all ranted out now. So until next time, guys, bye.